We're going to roll through this, finding the vertex and the axis of symmetry. Now remember, we have a very specific set of steps. We're going to follow those steps over and over and over again, and we are going to start taking deep breaths, and we will all be okay. So, first step, can't have anything in front of the x squared. So my first step is I am going to look at the first two, and I'm going to factor that number that is in front. So I have to factor out a 2. When I do that, that gives me an x squared plus 4x. I'm going to leave a space, and then I'm going to have a plus 5 on the back side of this. Okay? Everybody okay so far? Factor something, or factor the number that is in front out of the first two terms. Okay? Leave a space for what you're going to plug in for your magic number, and then you got your plus 5 outside of the parentheses. Okay? Next thing, we are ready to find our magic number. So I've got a 4, and I'm going to take 4 divided by 2, which gives me 2. And then I'm going to square 2, which gives me 4. 4 is my magic number. Since I'm on the same side as the equation, I added 4. Since I'm on the same side, I now have to subtract. And I'm going to subtract a 2 times a 4. Okay? Because we would have to distribute that 2 into the 4. So we subtract because it's on the same side, and we subtract 2 times 4. Now, I've got y equals 2 parentheses, because I forced this to a factor into an x something squared. What is the something that goes in there? That would be my positive 2. On the outside, I have a plus 5 minus 8. So I get y equals 2 parentheses x plus 2 squared minus 3. That is my vertex form. One of the questions will ask you for the vertex form. That is your vertex form. Now, what is your vertex? Okay, well, my vertex plus 2 is on the inside, so that would mean I would go to the left 2, so that would be a negative 2. Outside is a minus 3. We do what it says on the outside, so that would be a minus 3. My vertex is at negative 2, 3. My axis of symmetry, remember your axis of symmetry is x equals whatever the x-coordinate of the vertex is. So it would be x equals negative 2. That would be my axis of symmetry. Okay? As we keep moving through these, you guys will see we do the exact same steps every single time. It will get easier as you keep practicing. Okay, I need to factor out the number that is in front of the x squared. What number is in front of the x squared? A 1. So I'm going to factor out a 1. Leaves me with an x squared minus 4x. Leave a space. Okay, and then I've got that plus 4 on the outside. All right, now I've got a negative 4 divided by 2, which gives me a negative 2. And then a negative 2 squared gives me a positive 4. So I need to add 4 in there. Okay, since I added 4, that means I now need to subtract a 1 times a 4. Okay. All right, I'm ready to keep moving. Y equals 1 parentheses x something squared, because I forced this to factor. This is where my secret number comes into play. And on the back side, I have a plus 4 minus 1 times 4 would be a minus 4. So I end up with y equals, I could just write x minus 2 squared, and then plus 4 minus 4 is 0. So this is my vertex form for this parabola here. So what is my vertex? Well, inside would do the opposite. So I went to the right 2. And on the outside, I didn't move up or down. Technically, that would be a plus 0 there on the outside. That'd be a plus 0. So I could say that my vertex is 2, 0. Axis of symmetry. Well, axis of symmetry is just x equals. You have to have that x equals. And then it's whatever the x coordinate is. So your x coordinate there is 2. So x equals 2 is my axis of symmetry. We're going to do one more. Okay. Now this one's going to be a little trickier, so stay with me. Okay. We have to factor out the number that is in front of the x squared. So for this one here, I have to factor out an 8. So when I do that, I'm left with x squared. If I factor out an 8 from a negative 4, I am left with a negative 1/2 x. If I pull an 8 out of 4, I'm left with a negative 1/2. I'm going to leave a space, and I got my -1 on the outside. Okay, so this one is going to be a little trickier. Stay with me, though. Okay, I've got a negative 1/2, and I need to divide that by 2. Negative 1/2 divided by 2 ends up giving me negative 1/4. And negative 1/4 squared ends up giving me 1/16. So I'm going to need to add, not 16. I'm going to need to add 1/16. Okay, and since I added, I'm going to need to now subtract 8 times 1/16. Okay, so you guys can kind of see we plug the same numbers in every single time. It's just different where you plug them in at. Okay, so if we keep working and we keep learning this pattern, okay, that'll help us as we move forward. If we can do one of these, you'll be able to do the easier ones just fine. So I've got my 8. That magic number forced this to factor into an x something squared. Well, what is the something? Well, it would be negative 1/4. And then I have a -1 minus 8 times 1/16 would be 8/16. So that would be -1/2. 8/16 is 1/2. And I get y equals 8 x minus 1/4 squared minus 3/2. -1 would be just 2/2. So -2/2 minus 1/2 gives me -3/2. So there is my vertex form. So your vertex then, inside we do the opposite. So that shifted to the right 1/4. And then it shifted down 3/2. So my vertex would be at 1/4, negative 3/2. And then my axis of symmetry is x equals whatever the x coordinate of our vertex was. So our x coordinate would be 1/4. So I'd have x equals 1/4. Okay. We will be practicing this. You guys will find the vertex form. After you find the vertex form, you will find the vertex and you will find the axis of symmetry. That's what we will be doing all class. We will just be practicing these. Okay. You might want to have your notes with you while you're doing it. If you guys have color, it definitely does help to have that color with you.